Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Antiquity, and welcome to some more Starcraft 2. Now today I have a game for you between Barcode and Hopt. Okay, not really. This Barcode player actually being Lowko himself, spawning in the bottom left corner of Dusk Towers, and he is playing Protoss against his opponent spawning in the blue trunks, and he is Terran, and that is PAGA or PAGA Hopt. Looks like Hopt trying to get a little bit of race information from Lowko. And Lowko's just, nope, not going to have that. Now, Lowko does tend to play random a lot on this particular account. His normal preferred race is Zerg, but he has been doing a lot of random as well to try and get all around better at playing the additional races as well. Lowko is a top 25 Master League player, so we know we're going to expect to see some really good gameplay today. So coming from our opponent, we do have that single gas, single barracks drop, a single gas, single barracks warp in. And then from Lowko, a very standard Protoss warp-in of getting the assembler and just a gateway. Nothing too out of the ordinary for these folks. Lowko is going to go ahead and drop all three into gas. And our opponent's going to do the same as well. So nothing too out of the ordinary. Pretty standard openings from everybody. Gotta wonder what Lowko has in mind. Now, I have not seen these replays before. I am casting these for the very first time to see what we actually have going on. Looks like Hopt got himself a little bit of scouting information. I don't think he got all that much. Actually, he didn't get anything. He saw a pylon, so all he knows is that Lowko has a pylon. Lowko getting that early expansion for himself down in his natural. That nice secluded, safe natural in the back. Looks like Hopt is going to go ahead and do the same as well. That's a very fast expansion that I've seen for Terran players. Really quite surprising. We do see the reactor coming down for Hopt. Just going to go straight into mass marine production. Going to go ahead and drop down a factory as well. We might start to see some tech play coming out from our Terran player. Again, Lowko doing a very standard Protoss opening, dropping the Cybernetics core and getting Gateway rushed out as soon as he can. And bringing the Mothership core. And then warping one Abdat as well. Very standard opening for Protoss players these days. Very common opening in Legacy of the Void. Looks like both players might be going for that macro game, go for the long game. Instead of trying to end any type of instead of trying to end it early with any type of early aggression. And we do see that Hopt went ahead and picked up the second gas. Definitely going for some heavy gas play. Definitely going to start switching into the mech Sky Terran play. Probably going to see the switch around here shortly. Lowko doing what he can to make sure he gets this natural fully saturated as fast as he can. And just absolutely denying any type of scouting information. He absolutely knows nothing of what's actually there. Hopt has no idea what's coming, although I don't know what Lowko has in mind either. Very standard gateway opening, just gateway units. Looks like he's going to go ahead and push out with this and do a little bit of early aggression if he can. Gonna run those units across the map and see what he can find out. Now keep in mind, folks, Lowko actually has no idea what's going on with his opponent at all. He hasn't done any type of scouting whatsoever. So he hasn't seen the starport or what might be coming in. It looks like Hopt is actually going to go for some Viking play. That's really interesting. Seems how he's only actually seen the one Mothership core. He's just assuming that Lowko is going to be going for Sky Toss. Risky move, and he actually picks up a Cyclone. There's something you definitely don't see a whole lot of these days. Watched a lot of StarCraft 2 recently, and I don't see a whole lot of Cyclone play. That's kind of cool to see. Hopt, of course, still just sitting on those 2 gas. Lowko went ahead and picked up the 2 gas at his natural as well, fully saturated there. Getting the double forge going on. He's going to go for those really fast upgrades. Make sure those are both coming in. it looks like he might be going for some immortal play. Common strategy we see out of Lowko is an immortal adept play. Certainly one of his favorite playstyles when he actually does Protoss. His opponent dropping on 2 more barracks. Looks like he's going to go that heavy mech marine ball. So he just picked up the 1 Viking just to help deal with that mothership core. I think for the most part, though, we're going to see more medevacs popping out for him, though. He is going to go ahead and do that switch around. Can't imagine why, though. Why did he just drop the tech lab there? That's certainly interesting. He's going to go ahead and drop the reactor, so he's probably going to go mass Viking. Should be really interesting to see, seeing as how he hasn't scouted any information from Lowko that would tell him that he would need to go mass air. Lowko himself bringing in 2 more gateways down here at his natural. 3 more gateways down here at his natural. Definitely going to go that heavy adept play. We do see the resonating glaze for Lowko, that adept upgrade. And then he's going with the +1/+1 as well. I'm going to go for a little bit of a timing push here. Hopt going ahead and picking up his 3rd base. We do see quite the little army coming out from Hopt, although these players are pretty evenly matched. See this very interesting Marine, Siege, Tank, Viking, Medevac, 1 Cyclone play from Hopt. Not exactly sure what he's going for. But we definitely see a heavy adept immortal play coming out of Lowko. Hopt sitting on 1 Medevac, 1 Cyclone, 1 Viking, 1 Reaper, 3 Siege Tanks, and 19 Marines. He's pretty much just go for the build everything build, while Lowko being a little more focused with the 1 Zealot, 3 Immortals, 10 Adepts, 1 Stalker, and the Warp Prism, so he can bring himself a little closer to his opponent. We do see the push out from Lowko, wanting to get that proxy pylon up here so it's easier to warp in, especially if he loses that Warp Prism that he actually just dropped in over here. Definitely going that heavy adept play. I know that's something he's been pushing a lot lately. It just happens to be his favored play, which is good. It's actually a very good play against most builds, especially like this, that heavy biomass type of build. Adept does great. Doesn't work so well against mech, but his opponent hasn't exactly dedicated himself to being in mech. Lowko trying to get that warp, and he's just going to drop it right on top of the Marines, and there we go. We get that really good engagement, that really good surround. Kind of pseudo-surround of just pop in, I'm going to just wreck your shit. Lowko doing a ton of damage here, absolutely decimating the army of Hopt. He actually picks up those siege tanks and boogies out of there, but the damage has already been done. Hopt losing all of his SCVs at his natural and almost losing his orbital command. Lowko managed to being able to do just a ton of damage. And there goes his 3rd base. Sorry, my apologies. His 3rd expansion is absolutely just gone. Not exactly the good thing he's getting to be just about mined out on his natural or on his main base. Lowko just sitting on just a huge army. Both players pretty evenly supplied. They have been pretty evenly supplied, but Lowko's army being just a little bit bigger, and he's got just a couple more probes than his opponent. And here we go, another huge encounter. Unfortunately, this doesn't go as well for Lowko. Hopt has got those siege tanks sitting in the back, just raining death upon everything. And there goes down the mothership core. He's going to lose his Warp Prism. He doesn't not careful about it. Does manage to sneak on out of there and say, all right, you win. You win this encounter at least. I'm going to get out of here. Lowko trying that technique of run his adepts into the army and let them spawn in there, but that not working out quite so well. He lost a lot of supply there. Almost got to wonder if that was even worth it. You do see Lowko go ahead and pick up his 3rd base as well in the back behind all of that. Going to bring in the robotics bag. I wonder if he's going to start to go for Colossus. Seeing that huge marine biomass ball from his opponent, you got to wonder if he's not going to pick up something like a Colossus, try and counter that some more. See a little bit of a I believe that was a bit of a dropper. That's his Viking. My guess is Hopt just wanted to get rid of that unit because it just wasn't doing any good right now. Didn't really need the supply. You could use it somewhere else. Hopt taking a pretty big lead when it comes to supply, though. definitely has the bigger army than Lowko. Quite a dominating army, as a matter of fact. 70 army supply for Hopt versus Lowko's 40. Lowko picking up the double gas at his third base. And what do we see coming in from here? We do see the extended thermal lance, so we are going to start to see some Colossus play, and there it is. There's the warping for Colossus right there. And he's going to go ahead and bring in his additional mothership core as well. Lowko just about being mined out at his main base, and look at this just huge army for Hopt, ready to just absolutely decimate anything that he comes across. Sitting on 11 medevacs, 6 siege tanks, 5 marauders, and 30 marines. Just an absolute huge army for Hopt. And he's going to roll out and see if he can't do some serious damage with it. Looks like Lowko lost a probe there. And he's going to start to lose these additional pylons that he had warped in previously. Lowko himself, though, starting to get a really nice big army himself. Sitting on one Colossus, 3 Zealots, 4 Immortals, 14 Adepts, 4 Stalkers, and 5 Sentries. Certainly a force to be reckoned with when you're playing against Protoss, so Hopt might have the bigger army, but if Lowko can give himself some really good engagements, this will go down really quickly to that Colossus. Certainly we'll go down to the additional Colossus that's about to drop in on us now. Lowko just bringing in another huge warp in of Zealots. Oh, even got himself an Archon. Army supply starting to get a little bit more evenly matched at this point in time. 114 to 98, but he might have the slightly stronger army with +3/+3 to Hopt's +2/+1. Here's the huge engagement I mentioned earlier, and all of Hopt's Marines seem to go down. But Lowko lost very little about that. Those Colossus sitting on that back with that extended thermal lance just absolutely decimating the army of Hopt. Lowko's going to bring us some additional gateways behind this. Going to try and get himself a good engagement. And that kind of defensive time warp saying, nope, don't come up here. I'm not ready for you. Behind all of that, Hopt's going to pick himself up a 4th base. Kind of trapping Lowko inside of his own. And we do see the resource income much, much higher for Hopt, having picked up that 4th, and Lowko starting to mine out on his bases. He's going to need to push past this and get to expanding, but here we go. Here's the engagement that we're looking for. Lowko keeping those Colossus in the back just to decimate anything that he can. And he pushes out and breaks that line and forces Hopt to go home. And he's just going to keep on pushing right across the field. Lowko's starting to really even out his army supply with Hopt, but again, Lowko's sitting on +3/+3. Hopt is simply sitting on +2/+1. Lowko definitely has the stronger army in this case, even though he's got slightly fewer units. His units are heavily upgraded. No little engagement. Hopt losing most of his Marine and Marauder sitting there. He's not careful, he's going to lose a lot of his medevacs as well. Lowko just pushing past that. Just forcing himself into the base of Hopt, and there it is. He's defeated. He leaves the game, although bad manner for not GGing out. And there we go. Lowko takes home another victory. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you in the next one.